The first words you hear on the program are from Sockface, and it's horrible because now I think you hear an element of panic in his voice because he's trying even harder than he used to try, which was too hard. And now he's growling it. Oh, it's so big. And the match they start with is Magnum Hangnail Page and Swerve Strickland, where the winner gets Samoa Joe for the AEW title. And of course, there is the question to be asked of how many times do we have to see these two, especially when Swerve won the first two, and they've done everything possible. Remember, they broke concrete blocks over each other, terrorized their babies, intermingled their bodily fluids together. They're blood brothers. Wonder how that's going to get over at Christmas dinner. But anyway, nobody likes the empty-headed dipshit, trademark. He's bland and boring, and the people boo him because they don't want him to succeed at anything, and they kind of want him to go away. And the announcers were trying to, well, Swerve has never beaten Page fair and square. No, he's just beating him over and over. But the fans are chanting Swerve's house, and Page asks for cheers and gets booed. And they start a feeling out period where for about a minute and a half or so, they're feeling each other out in the course of starting their match. And then suddenly they go to the floor, they go over the rail, and they started doing what they always do. And every time Hangnail would do something of any consequence offensively, the fans would boo him, and they were chanting and cheered for Swerve. And after 5 minutes in, you know it's the same shit, right? And I just couldn't. I was like fast forwarding. I was like, say they're going to get to something sooner or later. And at 22 minutes into the program, they were out fighting on top of the barricade, and Swerve tried to pile drive Page on top of the barricade, but Page instead did some kind of sloppy DDT, and they went to the break. It's 23 minutes into the fucking program. They're just now going to a break, and this match is still going on. And they come back, and it keeps going forever. And they pulled out a table, but then they just leave it there because they're going to come back and use it later on. So now the deal is, you know, if they've set a table up, the match can never end until they've gone through the table, right? When's the last time anybody set one up and they didn't use it?
That's a big heel move. I would never do that.
Well, you know, you're a complete fucking idiots. You're burying your own shit. Now, whatever you do till somebody goes through that stupid fucking table, it ain't going to count. So, at one point, Page gave Swerve the dead eye, his thing. He picks the guy up over and he drops him on his head on the apron of the ring. But while Swerve is laying there selling on the fucking ground, Nana revived him with his dance. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And then, as Nana does that, Page comes out, takes a chair, and whacks the fuck out of the heel manager, and the crowd boos. The crowd booed the babyface hitting the heel manager with a chair. Brian, when did you ever in my career, on tape, live, in any promotion, in any company, anywhere that I was a heel in, hear anyone boo the babyface for striking me in a violent fashion?
Maybe like Philadelphia, but even there were enough babyface fans that they would overpower. It's just you would hear some heel fans, but...
Yeah. And only when it was Laurinaitis, come to think of it. Because the people in Philadelphia are Nostradamuses, every single one of them. So then...
But I think the other thing is you have to acknowledge Adam Page is the heel. The Elite are heels. I mean, the Young Bucks are heels. Adam Page is in the Elite. Adam Page is a heel. You could tell he grew out his mustache. Dax must be jealous. Grew out pretty quick and thick. And Swerve and Nana are clearly baby faces.
That's because Paige eats a lot of shit, so it's got fertilizer.
And Swerve and Nana are clearly baby faces. And who doesn't like an elderly dancing man?
And he's not elderly. He's not even as old as me.
I'm kidding.
The elderly dancing man. He's not like he's Don Cornelius ready to fucking turn to dust. We love you, Nana. But no, the point is nobody's presented that way because it's nobody turns until the people start booing them. And then they're like, uh-oh, I better be bad now. And it doesn't make sense. And it hasn't been... there are no linear stories being told. They wave, they flap in the breeze like a flag.
Swerve being turned babyface by committing robbery and breaking and entering is one of the great moments in AEW history.
Too bad there wasn't a baby he could kick on the way into the building. They'd have carried him out on their shoulders.
Don't kick the baby.
Don't kick the baby. So... later on, they're back on the apron. Swerve gives Paige his own move, the Deadeye, off the apron through the table. So the fucking... not only did the fucking heel was the one to set up the table, but then the heel is the one who should be the babyface, who is the babyface, that uses on the babyface that is the heel, his own move off the apron through the table. But then after he has dropped the man on his head through the table to the floor off the apron, he rolls Paige in and goes for the stomp off the top rope, and Paige moves after the table spot. And 15 seconds later, Paige is up on the apron, springing over, doing a flip, going for the buckshot. After he just got fucking thrown headfirst through it. How... not only are the talents involved in this match, and I use that term loosely, even for Swerve at this moment, mentally, they're fucking delusional, and they need to be at least fined and disciplined, if not outright told, you're goddamn morons, but there's nobody there to do that because nobody's fucking that giant dog. Tony's just holding its head, and it's humping the chair leg in the living room in front of the mother-in-law.
All right.
So anyway, he goes for the buckshot, and Swerve foils it and hits some kind of goddamn fucked up finish move, I don't know what, and cover, and the bell rings at the 2 count. And somebody, by the way, I believe said on the internet it was actually 30 minutes and 6 seconds or whatever because they had to get the bell at the 2 count. And they couldn't, they got a referee that's wired, and it's doable if you got fucking guys that can do it, but they didn't get it.
The timekeeper wanted the Rock and Roll Express to win.
Well, there you go. Charleston, South Carolina all over again. But did they announce, because I admit that I did fast forward much of this marathon fucking fiasco, but did they ever talk about, did you hear in the arena, They called a time, 5 minutes left, 15 minutes expired, any kind of... did the announcers on TV, but not for the live crowd? Or did they just ring the bell like a bunch of indie marks out of nowhere and piss the crowd off because the crowd booed like crazy when they got the fucking bell and it's a time limit draw out of nowhere?
Everyone hates a draw. Every fan hates a draw, even if it furthers what's happening. But I don't even remember if they announced it in the introductions. This match is a 30-minute time limit. They may have, and I just don't recall.
Well, I'm sure they probably did in the introduction, and you hear the introductions all the time. But the point is, and we covered this the last time they did something stupid like this, where it pisses the people off if they don't know, if they're not kept apprised that they're coming close to the time. So it's like Ring of Honor. Until I stop them, would have a match, it would just go 20 minutes and the people would be loving it, and suddenly the bell would fucking ring. I said, why didn't you make any goddamn announcement? 3 minutes remaining, 2 minutes remaining, build the drama. They said, well, but then they'll know we're going to a draw. I said, so then you work this hard for 20 minutes or whatever, and the people boo the finish because they didn't even know it was coming, and they feel like it's just a cheap way to fuck them in the ass, instead of 3 minutes remaining. Oh, God, one of them might win. 2 minutes. Oh, God, one of them might win. 1 minute. Oh, God, the false finish. Oh, my God. Ding, ding, ding. Wow. They almost had it. Or shades of goddamn incredulity. Go 19 minutes and 30 seconds and do a backslide 1, 2, 3, and then that gets you through the next 2 or 3 time limit draws before you need to do it again. It's a work. Fuck.
And remember, though, to be fair to them, we don't know because I don't remember hearing it, and I didn't necessarily, I may have fast-forwarded a bit, too. But in the past, they have announced it in the room, and we didn't hear it at home watching TV. But they did do it the right way.
Okay, then that's an indictment of this lousy announce team for not building the drama and giving a fucking hand job without a happy ending to the dwindling television audience who are going, well, what the fuck? If there was a time limit, why didn't they tell us it was coming up? It's just not professional. It's indie. It's outlaw. It's fucking small-time wrestling. If you're going to do 30 minutes between 2 top guys, there ought to be a clock on the screen for the last 2 minutes while they're goddamn exchanging backslides and fucking crucifixes and roll-ups and all this other shit in a scramble to win this thing instead of setting up fucking furniture or going for fucking forward flips after they've been paralyzed by being thrown through goddamn solid oak onto concrete. Then you might build some drama and some tension. If anybody gives a shit about who wins the match to begin with.
Once again, 30-minute time limit draw, Swerve and Adam Page, and of course that now means...
So then, no, it ain't over.
That's what I was saying.
It ain't over.
Yes.
Because Swerve, the heel, who's the baby face, takes the microphone and demands 5 more minutes. And Page is selling and laughing and says, you had to beat me. Well, it's over. And so the babyface doesn't agree to the 5 minutes because he said, fuck it. You had to, not because he wants to win meritoriously, but because no. And then Tony Schiavone busts in immediately and said, well, wait a minute. I just talked to Tony Khan. You're on fucking headset on the goddamn announce team, and you had this much time to have this goddamn intricate conversation with the boss in the last 30 seconds, where it's going to be a 3-way at the pay-per-view. And then Page gets mad and Swerve is happy. And so the heel is happy and the babyface is whining, and
it's reversed.
And it's reversed, and we're 40 minutes into the program, and we've ended up, what did I say, almost a month ago? They can probably make people want to see what's going to happen between Samoa Joe and Swerve Strickland and watch Tony be a mark and stick this fucking boring piece of shit in the way so that neither one of them gets over and the match is diluted and the attraction is diminished.
Watch Tony go a step further and put the belt on Adam Page.
Would that just be a signal? Fuck it. I've turned it over to them and their friends and they can do what they want. I quit. Tony will never quit.
For now, I think Tony he's like a little flitty. He goes back and forth between which group he likes to give power to at the moment.
Well, and then, obviously, do you have anything else to say about this, what we just saw before we move along?
No, I just think it's untraditional how they got here, but Swerve Strickland is the babyface, clearly. There's no ambiguity about it other than the fact that he is a heel stable and his manager is with the, well, he's a babyface, and Adam Page and his giant mustache is clearly the heel. And he's behaving like a heel. The 5-minute thing after the match, that's a babyface move. How they got here is weird, but Swerve's the babyface.
Well, and in Swerve's manager, Nana, when he's with Swerve, they like Nana. But then Nana comes out with the rest of the, gang, and whoever, I can't remember their names, Cage is in there, and the Samoan guy, whatever the fuck, Tia Leone is one of them.
Oh, that was it.
Linoleum. And then he's against baby faces, and they're supposed to boo them then, but Nana brings some element of likability to the Stiff Brigade. And all right,